So after getting back from my trip out west, it was very clear after a couple weeks that I needed to get a job that was going to pay me weekly, bi-weekly, whatever, something to pay the bills because the nonprofit and the weightlifting team weren't really off the ground yet, and the clientele that had followed me from my previous job was pretty minimal. I knew I had the potential to bring some new clients into Kenmore, but it was going to be limited. So I talked to a friend from high school who I knew was working as a GM at a restaurant, and shout out to Kendra. She was able to hook me up with a busing job there, so I could go on all day about the history of this beautiful old building. It's an architectural gem of its day. It was formerly a psychiatric hospital. That's why it was built. So they had some um, let's just say experimental treatments, that's for sure, but they also did a lot of holistic healing. It was really the first holistic mental hospital of its kind in the US, and um, the horticulture aspect really plays into what we do at the restaurant now. And that 100 acres name does come from the original 100 acres that they tended the farm on, which later became the land that I played rugby on and lived on at Buff State. And I can see my dorm room from the host stand. And I recently dug up a paper that I had written in college about the building, mostly from an architectural standpoint, but going into a little bit of the details of some of the therapy as well. But yeah, man, I mean, I would say for the most part, this is a nights and weekends gig. I'm at the gym, 4 or 5 days a week. Maybe I'll get the chance to run some errands or go on a date with my girlfriend, and then all weekend long I'm there. So I took a couple days off for, Buffalo Fitness Expo. I took a day off for my weightlifting meet, and as awesome of a place as it is to work, we have a really supportive owner, a really supportive management. Everybody wants to see us succeed and grow and follow our passions. So they really do support us in a lot of ways. But um, from a time off standpoint, they're trying to run a business too. So yeah, when I requested 2 Saturdays off in a row, I got some flack for that. Um, but just trying to manage this like work life balance, and that's it's easy to maybe like sit down and break down and where can I fit in some personal time or what have you when you have one job, or being able to take and schedule a certain part of your day to do something. But for those who are working multiple jobs and there's so much in between, and maybe your employers give you a break because they know that you need a day off, so they hook you up. But again, that one day off is quickly sucked into doctor's appointments and auto mechanics and what have you. So I guess I can't say that. Certainly, I haven't worked full days nonstop for this long, but it's now the middle of August, and since 4th of July, I have not had a full day off that I wasn't in the gym, wasn't at the restaurant, wasn't in a meeting, um, doing some type of work. So I think that in a lot of ways that when I made this lifestyle change, I knew that it would long term allow me some freedom to do some things where I could travel more and take some of that time off, and maybe in chunks at a time, and do some remote work and what have you. But I think in the short term, I really put myself in a place where I can't take any days off, at least not a full day. And if I do, that's grocery shopping, that's laundry, that's running errands, paying bills. So I guess this message is mostly just like for anyone out there who is going through that same grind, and we see it every day. There's a couple cool. I'll give you a quick example. Um, the Iron Maiden came into the hotel, right? It's this super gothic looking. It's actually Romanesque to be architecturally correct. Um, but yeah, the building, I mean, literally looks like a haunted castle, and So Iron Maiden stayed there. They're playing a show tonight, and no way could I afford tickets. And to be honest with you, I couldn't even afford to miss a day's work. Um, so here I am. But there was another group that came in, about 35 politicians and other people, local influencers throughout the community who are um, trying to make some things happen in the area, I suppose. I'm not sure totally the details, but Mark Poloncarz, the Erie County executive, was at the head of the table, and there's a political science student who works at the host stand, and he was a little jealous that he was on the outside of the room, not sitting at the table, and there's been other healthcare companies that come in and or medical sales companies that host similar parties, some bigger, some smaller, what have you, but it's it's pretty often that at least one of us service staff takes mention to what's happening within that room or the dining room, or um, maybe it's just a table that, whatever it might be. If, you know, none of us want to be waiting tables or, in my case, bussing tables, polishing silverware. I mean, that's literally 90% of my job is either picking up dirty dishes, filling people's waters, and polishing silverware. So for 15 bucks an hour, that's about what I'm worth. Um, and as supportive as the staff can be, there are some definite like constraints in regards to what the schedule looks like, and I think a lot of that comes from just general like service industry. It's hard. You don't know how many reservations you're gonna get next week, and or who's gonna be calling off or what's going on, and you know um, a reservation changes and it jacks up your whole schedule. I get that these things happen, but there's a level of consistency that we all need in our lives, and I think that it's a little bit of a double-edged sword. The statement that I'm making here is that in a lot of ways, pay your dues and trust the process and bust your hump while you can. And maybe it's 6 weeks, like in my situation, it's been 6 weeks since I had a day off. And even then, I was in the gym for 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever it was, training friends, training myself, posting social media, what have you. I think that's when you become an entrepreneur, there are no days off, but there are certainly periods of more and less work, and being in one of those periods of more work is often discouraging, especially when you don't feel like you're getting the value that you're worth. I see other professionals in my field making easily double what I'm walking away with, and I think that I'm not asking for $35 an hour. I'm asking for 20 or what have you, whatever it boils down to. Numbers aside, when you're worth more than you are being given, whether that's respect, whether that's monetary payment, whether that's opportunities. Um, we all want to be in a position where we're making more money. For the bussers want to be servers, the servers want to be bartenders, the bartenders want to be managers. However that hierarchy lays out, and that's not exactly how it is in our facility, but yeah, I would love to serve, and I do feel that I'm undervalued based on my knowledge of the building and my knowledge of the food service industry. Um, but the reality is, like, I am where I am, and I can either like stop hustling and kind of give into it because I don't think I'm worth it, or you know, grind through it until I'm at a place where I'm getting offers handed to me and I can't turn them down. So a couple things have come across my plate. So, nothing, a couple bites, but I haven't got that real big fish yet. So I'm hoping for it. But for anyone out there who's just hustling, grinding, 2 jobs to get by, 3 jobs to get by, works a morning shift, gets out, works a night shift, double duty. Um, know your value, but at the same time, keep grinding because um, there's something bigger that I'm not ready to give up on, and I don't think that you should be either. On that note, I'm gonna try to get some rest because we're back at it, double duty tomorrow. maybe I'll have time to get a lift in a little bit, maybe not, who knows. But sometimes it's just how it's got to be. Get after it.